In this video, we are going to be creating a law firm case management system. Now, if you're a law firm and if you're managing your cases in the Excel sheets and emails, this is a great option for you to organize your business. We're not going to be overdoing things. We are going to build a basic yet highly functional operating system for your law firm. So basically, we are going to be having 5 tables. The first one is an intake table where you're going to be storing all the intake. Then you have the clients table. We will have a cases table where we'll store the case information. We'll have a documents table where we'll store all the documents that is coming back and forth. And then finally an events table, which is going to be sort of a calendar where, all the dates are going to be stored, such as, your court dates, your expert interview dates, your client meeting dates, all of those. The operational flow, we are going to be, in this example, it is going to be a personal injury, firm. I've got some basic information here. Let's call it like a Redwood injury law firm. It's going to be personal injury, and here's the basic bio of the firm. And then here are the features. We are going to be having tables to store all the information, forms to collect the information. We're going to be having views, so how different attorneys might need to look at the cases in a different way, so we can create multiple views for the same database. We'll have tasks. Every professional have a list of to-dos, and then you work from that. Then we'll do the case workflow. We'll have certain subtables. Now, depending on the kind of law you practice, the subtables may differ. We are doing personal injury, so we are going to be having a medical treatment tracking. We are going to be having an insurance claim tracking. And then obviously the document management, statute of limitations tracking. We'll have some automations to make our life easier, some validations so that we are not inputting wrong data or inappropriate data into the system. We'll have some dashboard and reporting. That's the whole thing. But in this video, it's going to be the first step. Let's see how much we can get through. And if I go back to the image, this is the flow. Obviously, you're going to have a new lead, and then when the new lead comes through, you're going to send in an intake form. Either it is attached on a website or it can be just a link. They're going to fill in the form. You're going to get the data in your database, and then you can either accept or decline the lead. If you accept it, it will further be automatically processed, and we can build the client and case out of this automatically, and then we can have the investigation and treatment and all the demand letters and templates and all sort of thing. And finally, when you have either settlement or a litigation, that process, and then close the case. That's enough of theory. Let's just get to building. We are going to be building this with InfoLobby because InfoLobby is a great work management tool, brilliant automations, unlimited users, and it just makes your life easy. Let's get started by building all the tables that we need. So here I've created some mockup. We're going to be having client. This is the basic client data we're going to be storing. What is the type of the field? Whether do we need it or not? This is the cases table. This is the intake table. I'm going to move this to the end. Okay. This is the document table. Now, within InfoLobby, you can go ahead and click this add table to build your first table. I'm going to say create table from scratch. Okay. And then I'm going to say clients. So this is the name of the table. And we will give it one field. Let's pick a field out of this list for clients. Let's go use the first name field. All right, first name. This field is required, and then we are going to save this. So the basic table is now ready. We have a client table with one field. Now let's build the other fields. You can either click here and add it one by one. I prefer to use the little AI feature that gives us for free, and I'm going to say add the following fields to this table. And then I'm going to copy this Excel sheet. We have already done first name. I'm going to copy from here, this one, and this one. And this one. All right. And then go to InfoLobby, give it to the chat. Let's see what it does. As you can see that AI has just completed. Let's go ahead and just review this. First name required, done. Last name required, done. Date of birth is not required, that's fine. Phone number, it's already adding certain validation rejects, that is good. email. All right. Address field is good. It is a string. I would rather, actually, that is fine, string. Okay. We have the city, state, and it has added all the states in here. As you can see, zip code, it has verified the regex. Preferred contact, which I don't think we need it at this stage, so I'm going to remove this field, preferred contact, and we'll have a client status, whether it is active or inactive. And for this one, I'm going to make it a checkbox so we can just check whether it is active or not. And then we have a little notes field, and then we have a date added. I'm going to rename this to created at. It's more standard, wording that people use. And we are done. I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'll go back to our Google Sheets, remove the preferred contact from here, and I'm going to remove this one as well. We don't need this now, and change this to created at. Perfect. Now, if I look into my clients, I can click new, and you can see that a number of fields are going to come. Now, I want certain fields to be automatically set. For example, I don't want this while creating. So what I can do is that I can go into the table and I can go to the settings, and then I can select the status to be hide on create and automatically make it active during the creation. So here we are. This is our creation field. So let's go ahead and add the dummy data. I've got the data here. So our client is Maria. So I'm going to go into the form. Rodriguez. Do we have a date? Yeah. 4/18/1988. We've got that. We've got a phone number here. Now you see that if I don't put the right number, it will throw us a validation error. It says that some fields have errors. Please correct them before saving, which is this. We need it to be in the right format. And then we have got the email ID. I'm just going to copy the whole thing and then put it here, and then I can copy paste from here. This is the address, Miami. State is Florida. And we've got a zip code here. And we have a little note. All right. Now, if I put a wrong zip code, I think here's a validation as well. Yep, it's not going to allow us. So we're going to keep it that way. Perfect. And now if I go ahead and save this, we have our first client. Perfect. Now in similar fashion, I'm going to go ahead and create all other tables one by one using the AI, and then we'll continue once I am done with that. AI has done its job. Now we have got all of the tables ready. We've got clients, cases, documents, intake, and events. Now, I also went ahead and added the dummy data that we have got here in the Google Sheet. So for the clients, we already did this. For the cases, I added this data. Same for the intake, documents, and events. Let me quickly show you. So if I go into clients, you will see that we have one client, the one which we just added. Let me add full name there. If I go in here, you can always put Control S and save it. It's quite easy. And then that's the client. And then if you scroll down, all the related items come down on a table like here, like a tabulated form. Okay. Now I have added a case. If you can go to cases table and find it here. All right. Or you can go into the clients, and under the clients, you'll find all the associated cases for that client. I click open and you find the entire case information. Now, the same concept applies for documents and events. So you open a case, all the related documents and all the related events can come in here. So in document, I've got an ER bill here. That is great. If I go back, in the events, I've got a follow-up, requirement. This is perfect. Now, if you would like to modify how the tabulated forms looks like, for example, in clients table, I just don't want to see the name. I also want to see some status over here. To do that, you can go into clients and then you can go into configure and scroll all the way down to find your tab, and then you can add the fields that you would like to show. So I'd like to show, for example, a name, um, case type, and case status, lead attorney maybe. Right, and I'm going to save it, Control S. And now if we go back to our clients and open this particular record, you will see that we have more information over here. That is perfect. Now, if you want to add an ad hoc case, you can, quickly go ahead. Let's say I'm inside the case and I want to quickly add a meeting for this particular case. You can click this plus icon and then you add it right here. So you can see that case is already selected. Perfect. Now I'll go back to my sheet and then we can mark that tables and databases are done, right? The next thing is intake form. Now we already have an intake table where all the information is coming and saving, which is here, right? But we need a public facing form for our clients to be able to actually fill it. You can create that by going to the configuration screen once again and then go to public and then create a web form. Perfect. And then you can allow your domains. Let's say that you are going to embed this form on your website, which is what most of the law firms do. Then you can put in your website address here. And for now, there are all the fields here. I'm going to select all. But we don't need every field because some of these are for internal purposes. So let's uncheck the ones that we don't need. This is internal, internal, internal. We need captcha just so that we don't, get bombarded by the spam bots. Yep, I think that's all. Status is internal, decline reason, intake nodes. All these are internal fields which we don't need. Perfect. So this is our basic form and you can go ahead and save it. Now you see that there is a form link that comes in here. You can click this and the form will open. Now you can either share this link with everybody or add it to your website, or if you want to embed it, you have this code. Great. Now one other thing is that now you notice that this particular form is plain. There is no header or something. InfoLobby allows you to add any header that you want. Okay, it allows you to add an HTML header. So if you don't know how to write HTML, you can go to any of your ChatGPT or LLM and then write, give me an HTML header for my law firm intake form, and then you can give in the law firm information, which we have got it here, right? Okay, this is really big. All right, I need it super short. So now it has given us a compact form, which is what I like. I can copy this, go back to my HTML header, save it, and now if I come here and refresh, let's see how it is going. You can see that it has given a really nice header, pretty simple one, and that's what I'll keep. So we are done with creating an intake form. Let's try to submit something. So here's a prospect name and we need a valid US phone number. I'm going to test. We need a case type and then let's say it's auto accident, and let's say incident date. Incident state is Alabama. I'm going to just add some test data in here. Perfect. Now you can see that we have filled all the form and there's the captcha, and then I'm going to submit this. Instant date cannot be in the future. Okay, that is great validation rule that we have got it. To be very honest, I did not create that. So AI has created that. Now I'm curious to see where has it created. So if I go into my intake table, Let me see if there's any validation that was created. Yep, here there is a validation rule that AI has created, which is perfect. I did not do this, and I'm very happy that it is done. So I'm going to submit. Okay, let's change the incident date to past, let's say 5th. Submit, and you can see that there's a simple thank you message. Of course, you also can go ahead and modify the thank you message here. Also, after submission, if you want them to redirect to your website, you can go ahead and add that URL here. All of this modification is possible. Now let's close this and let me see the new intake that has been submitted. You can see that the intake is here, and then we've got all the basic information ready. Perfect. That is about the intake form. Now we'll go to our sheet here, and then we can make intake form done as well. Now normally what would happen is that you have an intake in here. Now one of your team members, whoever is in charge of taking the intakes, is going to come in here and then see it and then probably assign it to one of the attorneys. And then now the task goes into the attorney's basket, who is going to review it and make a decision to accept it or no. Now let's say that if it is in reviewing stage, it is reviewing, and then you can accept it. Now if you decline it, it goes in here, and then you're done with it. That's how this whole table works. Now you can create multiple views for this. That is exactly our next step, which is to create the views. Let's go ahead and create views for all the tables that we have created. First things is the clients table. Now, you always don't want to see your clients like this. It's a really large table and you don't need to see all of this information here. So you can go ahead and click here and then click layout options and then hide the fields that you don't want to show. I normally hide it all and then intentionally just add the fields I want to see. Let's say first name and last name, definitely. And I want to know the status of this client. And I want to know probably email address or phone number. That's pretty much it. I'm going to save it. And now we have a very small table that is really easy for us to navigate. Now you will have to save this particular layout. You can go in here and then create this, and then I'm going to call this as main layout, which is perfect. And then I'm going to make this as the default. So every time I come to this table, it is this layout that I see. Now let's say that I'm going to duplicate this client just for the sake of it. Clone Maria Rodriguez. I'm just gonna change the name into, let's say, Mollector. Perfect. Now we have got two clients in here, but I do not want to see the clients that are inactive. Let's say that this particular client is not active with us anymore, so I have turned them inactive. Now I don't want to see inactive clients, so what do I do? So you can go ahead and filter it here and then say status here is equals active only, and then you will see only active, and then you can add this into your views, so you'll only see filtered active views. Yep, this is it for the clients table. We have a basic structure ready and we are good to go. Now let's go to the cases table. Now once again, we don't need all this information. Let's go ahead and minimize what we are going to see. So I'm going to go into the layout option, uncheck all. I need the the name of the case, I need the client, I need the type, I need the status, I need the stage, priority, lead attorney, and all this information is not required. And that's pretty much it. This is all I need. So let's apply. So we have got a smaller table now. And then once again, if you want to filter only active cases, you can do that. But I'm not going to do that in this because we have multiple statuses here. And then I would do a slightly better way to filter it. First, let me go ahead and save this as the main view. And then let me make it as a default. Now this is one way to do this, right? Now the another way to do this is having a Kanban board. Having a Kanban board is really helpful if you have multiple cases and you want to know where is all this cases standing. So you can go ahead and then click here and select the Kanban board, and then select by what is the field you want to group the cards by, and I normally go with case stage, and then the name is what is going to apply. So now what this does is that you know at what stage of case this is that. Like now you know that this was an intake case. Once it has gone to investigation, you can do that. Once it has gone to treatment, once it has gone to, let's say, litigation, you move it all the way here. What this does is that you can see if you have like 50 cases in your company, in your law firm that is going on, you can see all of it properly in a board, and this is really helpful for you to know where you are standing as a law firm, as a company, in terms of your jobs. Now if you want to save this, once again you can go ahead and then create here, and I will call this a board view. Great, now we have two views. We have the main view and we have the board view. Now, one other thing I normally like to do is go ahead and create a report. So InfoLobby allows you to have a configuration and create a report. And then I'll go ahead, create a report, and then I will say cases by status. And then I go ahead and add a table here, all right? And then I will go ahead and then count the number of records and then group by case status, all right? And then if I go ahead and then save it, you can also filter it if you need. Like for example, if status is equal to inactive, you don't need that. You can do that, but I'm not going to do that. So what this does is that it gives you a nice little table here on the right side. So let's say you have multiple cases, loan, and this one is on hold. Then you see all the statuses. You can know the count of your cases by status, and some clients prefer it by status, some clients prefer it by the stage, some client prefer it by the type of cases, what sort of cases you have. It's totally up to you. Similarly, you can go ahead and create views for all of this. For intake, I'm going to do once again a Kanban board, because intake is another area where you would like to know what is going on over the stages of the intake. So I would say intake status, and then I would say prospect name. Yep, apply. So now we have a board. So let's say that now you have got a new intake. You'll find all your new intakes here in the new. And then if you have contacted them, you can move it. Let's say you have accepted them, you move it to accepted. And then once you have declined them, you can move it to declined. Now I notice that there's no colors here. That is because our status field at the moment have not been given any colors. So I would like to go to my configuration, and then go to my fields, and then I'll tell AI assign colors to my select fields in this table. So for example, everything is a select field, right? Let's say insurance yes or no is a select field, police report is a select field, and then you've got case type, which is a select field. I could manually go ahead and do it for each of it. It's going to take a lot of time, so I would rather just tell AI to do this, which is better and faster at this job. It's asking me, do you want to do it for everything? I would say yes. It says that it has gone ahead and applied to all the colors. If I go ahead and try this now, yes, I can see colors. Let me go ahead and save it. And now if we come to our intake board, you can see that there's colors applied for each of this, which is great. It's just nice looking thing. And that's it about our views. So we have gone ahead and created the views. The next bit is task. Now InfoLobby gives you task by default. For example, you have a record in here, you get to have a task table. You can create your own task. For example, talk to client XYZ. Now when you do this, this is only to you, nobody else sees this. This is a personal task you're adding, and this is a personal task of yours. You can click here and go to all tasks, and you will see your task right here. Other than this, you can go ahead and create record task. For example, this has been assigned to me, right? Now I can go ahead and then create a task for this, and I will say, uh, talk to Maria about XYZ, and then add a task. Now, the difference between the earlier task and this task is that this task is related to this record. So anybody looking at the record can see that there's a task. And then if you go to your task table, you will see that this one is related to Maria Rodriguez. So when you come in and you click at the task to see all your tasks and you click this, you will know where is this coming from. This is coming from this particular case. So that's really helpful. That's it about task. You have the native task feature which you are going to enable, and then for each case you can go ahead and add your own task as many as required. You can go ahead and give it a due date. If I give it a due date now, you will see that it has turned orange because today it's due. If I had given this yesterday's due date, it would have been red and then alerting me, telling that hey, you're already over, it's overdue. You can see that. And of course you can have notifications as well. If you click one of these, you can see that when you assign a task, let's say that you as a lead attorney is assigning a task to one of your paralegals, you can just assign it to that particular person, and then you can go ahead and then save. Great. Now that's it about task. We are done with that as well. I think this video has already got fairly long. We have constructed our basic law firm operating system whereby we can go ahead and then manage all our basic law firm stuff, such as intake. We can manage the clients, we can manage the cases, documents, events. We have created the views, and that's good starting point. Now, in the upcoming videos, I'm going to show you how to create validations and how to create automation so you can save a lot of time. For example, you have an event coming up and you want it to be reminded. We can add automation for that. Statute of limitation, we can add automations for that. You want to request details from your client, we can add automation for that. You can, you want to, for example, you have an intake. You want to click a button and convert that into client and case. We can create an automation for that. So I'm going to show you all of those in upcoming videos. Feel free to follow and then build this on your own. If you would like the template of what I've already done, so you can use that, just message in the comments and I'll send you over that. And if you would like for me to build it, you can message me for that. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Thank you.